Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you are enjoying the online studies of various subjects going on. And I'm really happy that you people are taking interest in your assignments also and you are doing them regularly. I'm also giving you suggestions to improve these lessons as well as the assignments, and you are improving regularly. The efforts which are done sincerely always pay you back, and you would have seen it even during this lockdown. I hope you all people are optimistic enough that this time will be over, and with all your efficiency you are doing whatever you can do. This is the time, children, when you can enjoy your hobbies also. Some of you would be having the hobby of music, the others would be having the hobby of gardening, some would be having the hobby of listening to the old songs, some would be having the hobby of painting or of embroidery or anything else. So this is the time when you can spend your time for these hobbies also, which you never get in your usual days. So enjoy this time and have the fun of studies also. Today I am going to start the first lesson of Flamingo. The name of this lesson is The Last Lesson. Now this is the first lesson. This lesson is written by Alphonse Daudet, who was a French writer. Before starting the writing, he was a teacher, and then he left the job of a teacher and became a journalist and a story writer. The story is also about the country of France, when France was defeated by Persians in a war, which condition the people of that area had to face, especially the two regions of France. They were Alsace and Lorraine. The people of these regions were captured by the Germans, the Prussian army, and then they had to follow the rules given by them. Their liberty was snatched away. So what was the effect that is shown in this story, and the value of the mother tongue also? How the mother tongue is important, that I'll tell you at the end of the lecture, but before that you have to listen to this story. The character of this story is Franz, who is a young boy and who goes to the school. But definitely this boy is also a little naughty like other children and a little careless about the studies. Franz is already late for the school, and he is thinking whether he has to go to school or skip the school. Because when he compares the atmosphere of the school and the atmosphere of outside, the outside atmosphere appears to him very fascinating. Why? Because he can see many things, the nature around, the birds chirping, the nests of the birds, the eggs lying in the nest. All these things are fascinating and attractive to him. So for a while he thinks that he should skip the school. But because the sun is very hot, then he decides that he should better go to school and attend the lesson. The second reason of skipping the school is that the teacher had given him the work of preparing the lesson on particles and participles. But he forgot all those things, and the most important thing is he did not do even a single word on participle. But still, he thinks that he should go to school, and he starts walking fastly towards the school. He is crossing through the nearby area of municipal corporation, and he finds that a lot of people have gathered there in front of the notice board and they were reading the notice board. This notice board for the 1 year was giving the worst news of the area because this was the war time and all the bad news came from this notice board. The houser who was standing there, he says to the boy that you should go slowly to the school. There is enough time to go to the school. But the boy knows that he is already late for school. Then he runs thinking what would have been written on the notice board. When he reaches the area of the school, the gate of the school, he finds that the atmosphere of that area was unusually different from the other days. Why? In the normal days, there was a lot of noise in the school, the children making noise, the desks were opening and shutting down, there was a chaos. But today, the atmosphere is silent. Nothing is heard anywhere. Now, Franz is thinking how he would enter inside the class. The teacher's name is M. Hamel, and he is worried that definitely the teacher would scold him for being late. But again, the nature of the teacher was quite unusual because M. Hamel was very polite that day and he said Franz to take his seat so that they could start the lesson. When Franz sat on his seat, he noticed that another unusual thing was there in the class. And what was that unusual thing? That the villagers were also gathered there in the class and they were sitting at the back benches. Now, he is surprised to notice his teacher, M. Hamel, who was putting on his best dress. He was dressed in white collared shirt, the green coat and the hat, silk hat, which you usually used to wear when there was some inspection in the school or when there was a particular kind of occasion of celebration. So again he got confused why M. Hamel was dressed like that. But he sat down quietly. M. Hamel started the lesson and he said that we will start the lesson of participle. Franz was very worried that he did not know anything about participles. M. Hamel said that I am going to deliver my last lecture today because it is the order from Persian army that tomorrow onwards the children of this region would not be able to study French. They had to study German language because this area was captured by them. Now Franz realized what had happened in their life, and now he realized what was the importance of his language, and he was thinking that he had taken his studies very carelessly. Without any sincerity, he did not know even a single word of his own language. In the same way, the people sitting there, they were also guilty that they did not know their own language perfectly. M. Hamel started the lesson and he had told the children to read the participles. It was the turn of Franz. Franz stood up, but he was not able to do the participles well. He was feeling guilty, but again M. Hamel did not become angry with him. He said that, Franz, it is not only your fault that you don't know participles. We are equally responsible. And why they were equally responsible? M. Hamel gave the excuse of it also. He said that the children and their parents, they did not take their language sincerely. The parents were not interested to send their children to the school. Rather, they were interested that their children would get some job and earn some money for the family. In the same way, M. Hamel blames himself also that sometimes he also became careless. Sometimes he went for fishing and closed the school. And sometimes he sent the children to water the plants of the garden. So M. Hamel says that on everyone's side, everyone is responsible for ignoring the mother tongue, for ignoring language French. Now, M. Hamel says that the opportunity we had already missed and we are going to be slave now. The only strength of a person is his own mother tongue. If all of us would be knowing this mother tongue, or if all of us would be literate, then we would not have become slaves in the hand of Persian army. Now, M. Hamel gives the task of writing to everyone. He had prepared new copy for everyone, and on the front page of every copy, 2 words were written: France, Alice, France, Alice. All the children as well as the old people who had come there, whether they were the postmaster, the mayor, the houser, they all started writing in the copies. The class was very silent. Only the sound of the pen on the copy was heard, and there were pigeons in the class who was cooing that time. Franz was thinking in his mind that whether these people will teach German to these pigeons also from next day onwards. Just as pigeons had their own language coo, in the same way the people of France or the people of other countries have their own language, and they should value that language. That day he was realizing it. When the writing task was over, the grammar task was given, and after grammar task, the recitation task was given by M. Hamel. In the recitation task, all the people, even the old people, were reciting it like little kids. And the houser was crying also. The tears were coming from his eyes because he could realize the mistake which he had done in his life, that he did not learn his own mother tongue, which was his own identity. Now, M. Hamel is also becoming very serious, and the sadness was occurring there. Meanwhile, they could also hear the sound of packing the materials in the boxes. The sister of M. Hamel was packing all their belongings because they had to leave the next morning that area where they were living for 40 years. M. Hamel was teaching the children for 40 years, and all the people have gathered there to pay their respect to the teacher who was very sincere. Now, when the recitation task was over, the bell was ringing in the church and it was 12 o'clock. The Prussian army was doing the drill. Their bands could be heard from outside, and all this atmosphere was creating a sadness in their mind that tomorrow onwards they would leave their own identity. They would become the slaves from next day onwards. M. Hamel wanted to say something at the end of the lesson, but his voice choked because of the sadness. He could not say even a single word, but in the very big words he had written on the blackboard, "Vive la France, vive la France," means long live France, long live France. After that, he made a sign from his hands to leave the class, and the class was over. The children had to leave the class, but that day they realized that if they had to come back, they have to be free. They should learn their own mother language. They realized that the role of mother tongue is very, very important in the life of a man. We people generally also ignore our mother tongue. We feel hesitated to speak our own mother tongue in front of the people of other states or other countries. But actually, this is not good. The coming generations are not learning their mother tongue. We should realize the importance of this mother tongue, and we should start learning it from today itself so that we should not lose our identity. This is the message of the lesson, which is very beautifully delivered by the writer, and I hope you would have enjoyed this story. I had already sent you again the Hindi summary of this lesson also from my Kaksha. I hope you would have heard it and you would have followed it with my lesson also. After that, again the assignments would be sent to you on the WhatsApp group, which you have to complete within 1 week and come forward to help others, the needy people of the society, as well as your own family members. Enjoy cooking. Have a good diet. Goodbye, children.